'cause true meaning. Good morning. Welcome to the first morning of the summer practice period. We're going to practice with a little bit of an increment. And the theme is, as Chosen was talking about earlier, we're going to use the Dogen Zenji's mountains and rivers, fascicle, awaken to the 10,000 Dharmas. So I hope everyone is doing exactly what they want to be doing right now. I hope that everyone is in touch with that part of themselves that has an aspiration. In a way, we can call that the mountain side of things. Because the mountain has roots that include the whole earth. So regardless of what the weather looks like on the surface, the deep calling, aspiration, desire at our core, always there. And I hope that everyone right here, right now, is doing what they want to do. You know, and our surface mind says yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, like, don't like, I'd rather be doing da 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 da. But the core is what gives us stability, is what gives us presence. So I hope everyone here is in alignment with their own aspiration, their own desire. And so what is that aspiration and desire? In one sense, we're all such different people. In one sense, we all have so many different looks and expressions. On a different level, though, we're all so much alike. You know, most of us have 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes. Most of us have human bodies. Some of us have animal minds, but we all have the human body. And in that sense of we're all here in the same realm, in the same place, with the same body, at the core we have the same aspiration. To be one, to be whole, to be complete, to be liberated, to be free from suffering. And if that's not true, then, figure out what you want to do and go someplace else. Dogen Zenji starts off his sutra with mountains and rivers. Sometimes they translate it as waters, but I like the contrast of mountains and rivers. Mountains and rivers right now are the actualization of the ancient Buddha way. Each abiding in its phenomenal expression realizes completeness. Because mountains and waters have been active since before the empty eon, since before the Big Bang. They are alive at this moment because they have been the self since before form arose. They are emancipation-realization. Mountains and rivers right now are the actualization of the ancient Buddha way. So Chosen has been encouraging people to sit like a mountain, to find that part in yourself that is rooted in the earth, that is stable, that is present, that is connected to all things. We start off thinking that there is something called mountains that are out there and something called rivers that are over there. And then we are this little bump that's right here. But when we drop the idea of this little bump of I, me, and my, and we find that strong, central, encompassing, rooted foundation, then right where we sit is the whole earth. Right where we sit is a mountain. And that mountain, when we drop our small-minded, thinking, and reach inside to the place before words, to the place out of which all things mysteriously arise, before the empty eon, before things, then right here, right now, in this mountain moment, is the whole earth. And it has its particular phenomenological expression as this body. So we are practicing a little more Zazen in the evening, a little more Zazen in the morning, these next few weeks. And we are doing that not out of should or ought, or we're doing that because, and we are here aligning ourselves with that because of our aspiration for awakening. Because we want to see below the chitter-chatter of our own mind. Because we want to sit and to find the root that is before all of our opinions and judgments and likes and dislikes, that it should be this way and it should be that way, to find the root of awakening. And of course, that root is nowhere else. It's not as though something is out there and we can have some realization and bring it in here, or something is in the future and we can have some understanding and bring it here now. The root of a mountain is the root of a mountain, is the root of you, is the root right here, right now, always. So we are sitting in alignment, our small mind, in alignment with our deep mind. We're sitting in completeness. We're sitting in Zazen, where inside, outside, and in between all are held in the inclusive awareness of our nature. Because mountains and rivers have been active since before the empty eon, before the Big Bang. They're alive at this moment. Because they have been the self since before form arose. They are emancipation-realization. So who are we? How old are we? If we look inside and we turn our attention to the awareness itself, to that which is present, how old is it? How long has it been here? Does it have a birth? Was it born? Does it have a death? Of course, our thinking, our gender, our situation, our circumstance, all of that comes into being. Anything that comes in the front door goes out the back. Flows. But this awareness, which is not a thing, was never born. It's not a thing, and it will, because it was never born, will die. So before the Big Bang, before existence and non-existence, that which was never born. And because that which is never born is the root out of which mountains and rivers and all things arise, before there were mountains and rivers, before there was me and you, there is the one mind. And in that one mind, all of the different kinds of hair and trees and shrubs, the different kinds of skin, the different kinds of raiment, ornamentation, on top of that one mind are just snow in the wind. temporary, present. Dogen Zenji talks also about the 8 realizations of a great human being. That when we are sitting like a mountain, when we are dissolving ourselves into the earth, into the very place where all things arise, then there are qualities that begin to manifest. Not just manifest, but we begin to cultivate. In the Chinese tradition, they call people not practitioners, but cultivators. We're cultivating. We're growing things on this mountain. We're cultivating and shaping, sculpting the mountain in a way. So, spacious, empty. In that spacious emptiness, mountain, rooted to the earth and to all things. In that mountain, rooted to the earth of all things, this little, four-legged being comes into existence. And in that little four-legged body, four-extremity body, then we cultivate. And part of this life is a life of cultivation. So Dogen Zenji says that to cultivate the expression of a mountain, to cultivate the bodhisattva vow, to cultivate our ability to be skillful to help others, we have to live ethically. And that's part of why we just emphasize the precepts over and over and over again. One of our teachers said, well, we say precepts all the time, but as soon as somebody has some strong desire, they throw the precepts out the window and go chasing off after it. As soon as they get angry, as soon as they don't like what's going on. But that's the virtue of being rooted like a mountain, so that we are taking the precepts and we are living the precepts rooted in our being. Because the only one who really knows them and can live them, can express them, is us. To make the precepts our ethical standard, not to have them come out of the core of the mountain, instead of being imposed upon the top of the mountain, is the first of the aspects. And so we keep reciting and going precepts, precepts, precepts. Dogen Zenji said that the precepts are the most cherished gift of our school. And then the next aspect of this mountainous practice, all things are whole and complete, rooted in the mountain, is satisfaction inside and outside. Having few desires outside and inside. Knowing that core and being content that we are resonating with our core, and that rather than getting all excited about the ornamentation of it, getting all excited about the weather of it, getting all excited about the flowing stuff around it, we are resting in the core, whole, complete, lacking nothing, satisfied, inside, outside, in between. But that's not just an idea, it may be a fundamental truth, but we have to cultivate that too. And it requires diligence, requires mindfulness. And that mindfulness is the mindfulness that we take our shoes off with, that we open our door with. The state of mind we open a door, close a door. State of mind that we do dishes with. The state of mind that we eat with. To pay attention to each thing all day long with no gaps. Requires diligence. Requires making sure that that practice is in alignment with your deep desire, is in alignment with the core of your being. And when something is in alignment with the core of our being, we can put our energy into it. We're not split and divided and wobbling. It's interesting to think of all the things that have happened just in the recent days around here. We've had fireworks, and we've had runs and Foursquare and all kinds of things. And they're all pleasurable at the moment. But how long does that pleasure last? Boop, boop. Like yesterday's dream. The mountain practice is to be aligned with our deep aspiration, so that regardless of what temporary circumstance there is, there's a continuity, a sameness, a clarity, a presence. Because everything just disappears. So we're in this particularly good, fortunate realm right now, in the heavenly realm of the human realm, and that's temporary. And so we are cultivating, knowing the root of our mountain, the root of being, so that when the weather changes, we're unshaken. When the weather changes and suddenly it's winter and everything dies, that which is alive in us, the unborn mountain, does not die. Priest Dao Kai of Mount Fu Rong said to the assembly, "The green mountains are always walking. A stone woman gives birth to a child at night." Mountains do not lack the qualities of mountains. Therefore they always abide in ease and always walk. So we can be still, solid, present. But being a still, solid, present is not really the way things are. Because everything is always moving, always moving, always moving, always moving. And sometimes we can be aware of that movement in our being, and sometimes we're aware of that movement on the outside. How we view that movement shapes its nature. And if we view that movement from our fundamental aspiration, from our fundamental desire, then all movement becomes alive. All things become alive. All things become aligned with that which sees them. All things, when we are viewing them from the place that is whole and complete, lacking nothing, all things become whole and complete, lacking nothing. And it's not static. It's always alive. It's always moving. Stone woman gets up dancing. Wooden man starts to sing. Because that which is cultivated in us, in accord with our root, expressed ethically with diligence, with mindfulness, with presence, gives life to life. So, it's one of the 8 beneficial states is the ability to actually be in a place where we can hear about the Dharma, hear about liberation. We actually have the time to practice. We have the time to set aside and do meditation, for example. We have security and safety. We're well fed. We're sheltered. We have a supportive environment and community. All those are the propitious circumstances in which we can find the mountain mind. And they are not given. There are realms where people do not hear the word liberation. There are realms where people are slaves to either wages or people or things. There are realms where people are so sick that their mind can't turn toward the Dharma. So we have both the root of the mountain, we have the qualities that that allow us to discover that root. We have an opportunity to actualize, to manifest that root. And we have the ability to hold a container so that the root, the manifestation of the root, the daily activity of the root, all are for the benefit of helping reduce, relieve suffering in ourselves and others, or rather in others and ourselves. In the dualistic mind, other and self are just, but if what comes first is me, then sometimes the other never even comes. If what comes first is I'll take care of, I'll manifest, I'll help, I'll be of benefit to everyone else, then the taking care of ourselves can become in alignment with that. It's got to go that direction. The 10,000 Dharmas are our life. The 10,000 Dharmas call to us, call to something in us. And our job is from the roots of our being, from that mountain nature, to respond to the 10,000 things, to respond to all the people and things that we're needed. And in that response, we take care of ourselves. We grow in wisdom, compassion. So may everyone here grow in wisdom and compassion. May everyone here practice diligently. May everyone here not be confused about the root of your desire. What is it that you most desire? And make sure that you are practicing and living in accord with your own deepest desire, which only you can know.